Hi, welcome. Guess what? We are back again, or shall I say, I am back again. But if you're back too. So, welcome. This is another evening that I am going to spend a little bit of quality time with you. So, let's go ahead and do this. So, you might be wondering, hey, Dr. Erica, what are we talking about tonight? Well, one of the things that's been going on is we have been getting ready for this big election in November. And so much has been going on with it. And it's so much stress that's on top of everything else that was happening. So we have the stress of COVID, the stress of racial injustice, and the stress of dealing with all this political madness. So I wanted to do something for you to talk about some ways to manage through all of this other layer of crazy going on, because today in Georgia was the second day of early voting for the November election. So our early voting started yesterday. And I will confess, I meant to early vote yesterday and was just so tired for the conference, I didn't make it. So I'm going to go on Friday. But according to everything I've seen, I guess I need to make sure my bag is packed. I have all of my goodies and all of my stuff because people were in for some long waits today. So let's go ahead and get into what we're going to talk about. So the first thing I want to do is tell you who I am. I am your host, Dr. Erica, Harvard-trained, double board certified psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I am on a mission to help women feel seen, valued, and whole on their own terms. But today it doesn't matter your gender. I'm just here to help you get through all of this crazy with your sanity intact. I have a telepsych practice. I've done some books. I'm a best-selling author, but we can get to that later. Let's go ahead and get to what we're talking about. Now, the couple of housekeeping things. One is, please feel free to tag anybody you feel like needs this message or could use it. Also, you can share. Sharing is caring. The last thing, if you're watching it later, no problem. Just put hashtag replay in the comments. If you come in, just let me know how you're doing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So there is so much going on. And I put election season because the difference is there's so much early voting, absentee voting. This isn't just one election day. So it's a season, and there's also so much going on between debates, news, all different things, and then the political things going around in the White House. So let's talk about some ways to decrease your stress, because this can be a high stress time. It can be very stressful. Some of it is like watching a train wreck, but I will not give all of my personal commentary. So the first thing you can do to decrease your stress deals with the fact that a lot of stress is increased with uncertainty or unpredictability. So the first thing to help you feel confident and comfortable with what's going to happen and what you're going to do, we might not be able to predict all the outcomes of the election, but we can at least predict and come up with some plans of how we'll manage through things. So the first thing is to have a voting plan. This keeps you from having all of the chaos of just winging it. So your voting plan has to do with how you're going to vote, if you're going to vote in person, or if you're going to absentee vote. Are you going to vote in person early? Are you going to vote on election day? If you do absentee, are you mailing your ballot? Are you dropping your ballot off at the Board of Elections? And naturally, some of the ways that you know for sure you'll be counted is ideally to drop the ballot off at the Board of Elections or to early vote, because there's so much drama even with early voting. This time the lines are much longer, that it would be hard to wait till the day of and then be stuck in line for hours and hours and hours. So I'm a huge fan of early voting. But in your voting plan, also be prepared. You want to have what you need. And that brings us to the next thing, which is safety precautions, because we realize this election is happening during a pandemic. So you want to make sure that you have your gloves, your mask, your hand sanitizer. And since if you're voting in person, things are lasting longer, it's been suggested to have things like a lawn chair or a little portable chair you can bring, water, some snacks, and maybe even if you have a portable electronics charger, but have what you need to make that wait as pleasant and safe as possible. But you also want to remember that you're going to keep your distance because we're still dealing with the pandemic. So you want to have your voting plan, but you also want to make the appropriate safety precautions. But there's so much information to take care of and to know. So one of the other ways to calm stress is to have education, because that knowledge helps you feel confident not only in your decisions, but what the process is. So we put resources in research. I don't know why I keep saying we, because it's me, but resources and research. So you want to make sure that you're aware of like your Board of Elections website, so you know if anything's going on. Other resources such as information, you can find information on the candidates, what their platforms are, how voting is, what areas seem to be working a little bit better. This is a good time to, someone that's early voting, you're early voting, ask where they went. If they said they had a long line or a short line, you may be able to plan to try to get your line a little bit shorter. But you want to make sure that you have the information you need to make the decisions you need to make, as far as what your voting plan is, who you're going to vote for, and how you are going to manage the entire experience. And that also includes double checking and making sure that your registration is still active. And that, if you're voting on the day of, that you confirm your polling place. But I am still saying I am a big fan of early voting. So you might be like, I'm doing resources and research, but what do I do about information overload? Because that's another stress, because sometimes you end up with information overload between social media, all the notifications, everything running on the 24-hour news cycle, all the emails. You can have information overload. So what do? Limit social media and notifications. You don't need to sit on there watching everything, because there is so much craziness going on with this election that you can still be informed, but you don't have to be looking at that information all day, 24 hours a day. So I'd say limit social media. You don't have to be on it all day. If you feel yourself starting to get tense, come off. Don't engage with people that are super off their rockers, because most likely they are not going to change their mind, and you'll just run your blood pressure up trying to have a social media argument with them. So just make sure you limit your social media. Don't have every notification on. It will stress you out. So limit your notifications. Go on do not disturb periods of time, so you can just have some peace. But the thing is really you want to keep those triggers and stimulus down, so that you can not end up so stressed because you're constantly triggered. And that's what ends up happening sometimes when we go into social media and phone notification overload. So the next thing is, we talked about social media notifications. The other thing is, I contributed to a campaign. I think I get 20 different sets of emails a day from people related to that party. And sometimes it just gets mentally exhausting and stressful to get this stuff all the time. So limit your emails. You don't have to subscribe to everything. There are ways to get research and information and not necessarily have your entire email inbox full. So you can limit these emails. So you might be wondering, what else is there I can do? Because we've been talking about limiting emails, limiting social media, limiting our notifications, making our plan, having safe precautions, and also having our resources and doing our research. But the next thing is sometimes this goes along with what we were talking about with social media. Sometimes you can end up in the middle of stuff that is just way too much, and you end up in like a Twitter war. Let's not do that. So this is a time to avoid that negativity. I say avoid negative conversation. So that's not being surrounded by people that are just all full of the crazy. So that's avoiding these conversations that end up being socially charged, that may be your total opposing view on social media. That can also be avoiding some of these conversations in your personal life, that there may be people that you care about or you talk to that you kind of, it's more of, I'd rather text you or just have a brief conversation, or let's not talk politics. Because the other thing is, sometimes somebody may agree with you and may be so passionate that if you're not ready to have that conversation, it actually becomes stressful and overwhelming because it's so much intense energy. So part of it is protecting your energy. So avoiding getting just sucked into these really negative conversations or these over the top conversations that are just going to emotionally feel like too much. So it's okay to say that you You just can't really talk about that right now. It's okay not to engage with people. It's okay to just text people and not call them if you know that's kind of what they're coming with. It's okay not to engage in those conversations on social media. You have to be in control of your own energy. So again, this is Dr. Erica. I am wrapping up. Tonight we are talking about 5 tips to deal with and beat stress during this election season. So again, if you know anybody that needs this, please share it. You can also tag them. The other thing, if you're watching it later, no worries, just put hashtag replay in the comments. So I'm going to do a quick review and then we're going to get you out of here. So the quick review is, the first thing is have a voting plan. That takes out some of the stress of the uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen or what you're going to do and feeling like you're winging it, or the stress of ending up somewhere unprepared. So make sure you have your voting plan, and also when you're going to go vote that you have everything that you need, that you have your ID and all of your stuff, okay? And know kind of where you are going to be voting and what you're going to do. Are you doing absentee? Are you going in person? Are you early voting? Get that information. The next thing is have your safety precautions, your mask, your hand sanitizer, gloves, all the good stuff, your chair, if you have a charger for your phone, your ear pods, whatever you need to make it comfortable and safe. So you want to make your safety precautions and have all the stuff to protect yourself in this pandemic. The next thing is do you have your resources and researches ready? Just be able to look up the information you need to get information on candidates, information on voting, your polling place, what you need. Go ahead and have that and do your research so you know it. That'll keep you from being stressed about not being sure what to do. The next thing is limit social media notifications. You don't need all the information. If you feel yourself starting to get a little stressed, turn it off. The next thing is you can always go on do not disturb. And in the vein of that and too much information and being overstimulated, you can always unsubscribe from some of those emails. It can get overwhelming. The last thing, the bonus, is avoid negative conversations. So remember that you're in control of your energy. So don't engage in either negativity, or if it's a time where the energy is just so intense and over the top passionate and you're just not in a place where you can manage it, take a little space and put up some boundaries. So that's what I got for you tonight. Again, I'm Dr. Erica, double board certified psychiatrist. I am also Harvard trained. I'm also a best-selling author. I'm on a mission to help women feel seen, valued, and whole on their own terms. But today, it doesn't matter your gender. I'm just here to help you get through all this craziness with your sanity intact, because there is so much going on right now. The other thing is, if you are feeling just stressed and feeling like you don't feel like yourself, you can't sleep, you're not eating, or you're eating so much or gaining weight, or you feel like you just can't handle this, or you're going to yell at everyone you come around with, or you can't stop crying, I do have a private telepsychiatry practice. You can come check it out. It's at AskDrGoodwin.com. Scrolling down there, AskDrGoodwin.com. You can see what it's about and you can schedule your free consultation. And I can talk to you and we can see if there's anything I can do to help. Right now, I'm focusing on Georgia, Missouri, Tennessee, Massachusetts, Texas, and California. But, if you're somewhere else, we may be able to work something out. So that's what I got for you tonight. I want to tell you, please make sure you do your usual prescription. Call at least one person and tell them that you love them. I have something special also coming up tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm actually going to be on with Dr. Lakeisha on her Women's Health Show talking about seasonal affective disorder. So I would love to see you there. It's going to be at www.drlakeishamd.live. I'll put it in there for you. And I also have a graphic on my page. But I would love to see you there at 8 too. That would be excellent. And then I'll be back tomorrow at Wednesday. So 6. So see you soon. Have a great night. Make sure you spread love, hold on to love, and please take care of yourself. You don't have to be everyone to everybody, because I need something left for you. All right. Good night.